Everything is on.
Are we
So there's
super
nothing
recording?
we're doing. We're just talking, and you're just running around as a badger.
I'm gonna be watching that
basically,
television the entire time.
Yeah, I was about to say, it might actually be more engaging than if Mason was actually playing the Honey Badger. But alright, mic's on, the camera's on, the Honey Badger's in the tree.
He's looking for trouble.
He's
Yeah,
looking
he
for
is.
trouble.
Just like them raccoons.
Anyway, Mason, can you clap sync us?
Oh yeah, we need to
Do it,
clap
Mason!
Of course.
I did it.
You're doing more like coffee bar
Yeah.
sinking?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Nice piano bar too.
Yeah.
Are we beat? Are we beating it?
Beat?
No, we're not.
Then we can start renting. We can just hitting shit.
Please stop. People died in that price.
Did they?
Died in what?
Right.
What's
Right?
that famous?
Was it
from-
lyric?
Yeah, people
Yeah,
died of
AIDS.
AIDS.
Catching up.
Was it dying from boredom?
No.
From having to watch the
AIDS.
movie?
AIDS.
AIDS
Oh.
price.
His
Everyone's
age,
got
and
AIDS.
homelessness.
Okay, I am mistaken.
Anyway, welcome to the F Movie Podcast. We're a whole couch full today. I'm your host today, Dylan, with
So it's
Mason,
the
Price,
family Badgers.
and Nathan. And also Hannah's here. Hey everybody, Hannah's here.
Hey.
But who's Hannah? I've never heard of this girl before.
I don't know, some loyal viewer.
Loyal.
She won a contest.
Let's say she's
Yeah.
Dylan's biggest fan.
Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
That's true. There are people who probably like me.
You gotta go in there.
But,
If you do like Dylan more than his own wife, please comment and let us know.
yeah. But yeah, this is my wife. She we spun the guest host slice up there. The wheel's back. Don't worry, it'll come on later. But anyway, yeah. So she's here, and she didn't get to pick the movie, but she's gonna be here talking about it because we spun the guest host slice, and by God, we are gonna hold on to that guest host. So here we go. We're talking about what are we talking about, guys?
Penguin Highway.
I think so.
Penguin Highway.
Bad-
Not Badger Highway, as you would think from the video somewhere around us.
Look, all I gotta say is I searched for penguins, and the only thing I could come up with
We could have
would
been
have
playing
been
Club
Planet
Penguin.
Zoo, and I could
Uh-huh.
have been like designing a penguin enclosure, but I was just like, that requires too much focus.
Yeah.
Club
This
Penguin.
has
I think that shut down.
Penguin
No, it
Highway
didn't. It
and
came back.
chill vibes.
It came back.
Yeah.
That's wild. So
That's what we're going for here.
anyway, what game is on
Yeah,
our
what is
visual,
this
Nathan?
actually?
This is Shelter.
Mhm.
I know very little about it. It came out quite a long time ago, and this is my first time playing it.
In the right light, your badgers look like the tiles on the floor.
I mean, yeah, animals are,
Very-
usually their patterns are meant to blend into the surroundings, so really
Yeah, to
it's
camouflage.
ideal.
Is there an objective, or are you just exploring?
I have no idea.
Because it doesn't really
You ate
seem
something.
like you've done
I
anything.
fed one of my babies like a turnip.
Yeah, definitely
Here,
look
right
like
over
turnip.
here.
Oh.
Here's another
He's
one.
looking for trouble, guys. Just,
Wait,
So
you
you
don't,
let him do
it's
it.
turnips. You can speak this with your.
So-
Yeah,
your
Animal
background.
Crossing.
Yeah.
you don't feed your babies from your own breast?
Yeah.
He's a male.
You don't sell this.
I've
Yeah,
got
I know.
It
nipples,
looks
Greg.
like
Can you
if
milk
they
me?
get fed, they're a brighter color, which makes me wonder
If some of them are sick or
Yeah.
if some of them are like getting hungry, and maybe I need to be careful about who I feed. But
So I guess
that all distracts from
Yeah,
the fact
don't
that we're
worry.
actually here to talk about.
that's
the
just
movie.
our visual aid, guys. If you see some, soon to be dead baby honey badgers, don't question it too much. We're here talking about Penguin Highway.
Those cute pingoos.
Pengu.
Those soda can.
Yeah.
Pengu, Pengu.
You guys ever see the show Pengu, the kids show?
No.
The little claymation
Ever
Pengu.
watch Pengu?
Pengu.
I know what you're talking about. but I've never-
Pengu.
Yeah.
It's a really catchy theme song.
No, you have no idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about Pengu later.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get into it. What were our thoughts on the movie? Hannah, if you want to lead the discussion.
But maybe I'm a viewer and I haven't seen this movie before, so I need someone to explain to me this plot.
Okay. Hannah, what's the plot of the Penguin Highway?
And try to give us the plot without mentioning boobs.
Oh god.
Without mentioning
That
boobs.
was like my first thought.
Yeah.
Like, that's always
I
my
forgot
first. Like
how-
it brings up boobs so much.
Yeah.
Well, there's a young Japanese boy who befriends a woman that works in his dentist's office.
That is
Uh-huh.
correct.
Yeah.
And turns out she can turn inanimate objects into penguins.
And that's really just the side plot of this crazy.
And then there's
Story.
also a giant sphere of water that he and a couple of his friends discover in the woods, and they may be linked. there are a lot of mysterious happenings in the town that they inhabit. And they
Such
are,
as the creek apparently being an endless loop.
Oh, yeah.
just an
That's
endless
something that they
loop.
don't ever really
They
explain.
never came back to that,
It's
did
The
they?
only thing
I
I
don't
ever
remember
got
that,
out of that
yeah.
is like maybe that
Yeah.
was the limit at which she could like be in the town because
Right.
anytime they got too
Like
far
that was her
away, like maybe
boundary.
that was the border. Yeah.
So basically, they
Up to the
spend their time trying to investigate and research all of these happenings, and mostly the sphere of water, which they call the ocean, and trying to figure out what it is, why it is, and eventually, if all of this stuff is linked, and then everything just kind of goes haywire.
Penguins everywhere.
Yeah, there
penguins
are a
everywhere.
lot of penguins.
The
and-
Jabberwocky.
being unraveled by a giant ball of water.
Right.
Yeah, it
right.
turns out the penguins can attack the ocean, and that's a good thing.
They peck it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you guys thought the same thing too. The big ball of water. At one point, I think there's a shot where she is looking out her window and can see the big ball of water. And early on in the movie, she describes when she was younger, living in the coastal town, she could look out the window and see the ocean.
Right.
And that's what I kind of figured this ball was she was also creating that ball because it was slowly becoming the ocean that she would see in her childhood.
They're bringing her back home.
That's
real.
real
Yeah.
neat. I did not get there.
No, yeah.
I mean, I
like
see
that.
it, but
Yeah, I
I
like
was
that
I was
is a
not
thought.
there.
I got a-
Otherwise, it's two separate movies.
I got a little bit of a hint of that whenever they show the, like, again, because they come back on whenever they're going through the ocean, the second, or whenever, yeah, they hop into the ocean and they go and rescue the crew and stuff. There's, like, that shot of the window as they're, like bouncing out of it. And it's just like that in, like, the seaside town, but there's, like, nothing really hinted there. But no, I didn't think too deeply into that. I think that makes, at least for, like, this weird concept, because Onisan, as she's just eloquently known.
Onisan!
Yeah, I mean, I can't really, I don't believe they actually ever gave her a name, if I ever remember right.
I
But
don't either.
yeah, no, I think that'd be interesting if it's like, what if she is just this random alien thing that she says at the beginning of the movie, and then it's just like, oh, she came here, and then like maybe that's her world trying to expand, but she's like, oh, that's pretty unhealthy for everything. Maybe I just need to just go back to my own time and like space warp or whatever.
Yeah.
But-
This is a pretty funky movie, but let's.
Yeah, I wanna do, as they say in another 10 out of 10 movie, Tim and Eric, let's take this from the top.
Let's not
Let's start it from the top.
Yeah.
And I will give my hot take on this already, that the opening credits where, like, it shows the animators and stuff, best opening credits that we have seen besides Birdemic. Fight me on it. Come at me, I'm ready.
I don't know. Birdemic was pretty hot stuff.
I feel like just by saying no, that's enough. Does that make sense?
Be careful.
Yeah.
The whole time I was watching this with Kelly, and the whole opening credit, she was just giggling like a mad woman the whole time. She's like, "It's so cute! Look, I'm getting chased by the cat, and then he jumps in the water." I unironically did love the opening part.
I do think it's cute. Like,
Yeah.
the little penguins, and you're just like,
Aw.
not sure why penguins are here. But and they're like, we're not here to tell you either, really.
When that first little penguin was separated from the others,
No, Penta?
I guess
The
so.
one where they have the cage.
The
and
one in the
stuff?
cage.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they, like, I guess put a bunch of them in a truck and drove off, and then the one was, like, left behind. I really thought we were going to follow that penguin's journey.
Yeah.
And I was extremely distressed when we didn't go back to that one.
Yeah.
Because we're,
Like,
it
every
seemed
penguin
like
should
really
matter.
upset. It's like running. It's like, or whatever penguins do.
All penguins
I mean, I
matter?
guess that penguins
Well,
run.
running at high
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
running, I guess. And I'm just like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then we didn't go back to it. And the whole time, I'm thinking, but what is that penguin doing?
Mhm.
What is happening with that penguin? Is it distressed? Is it alone? Is it scared? Is it sad? Turns out it probably just turned back into a soda.
Probably.
I mean, the movie had enough
Or a
minutes. It had enough minutes to work with that you think that penguin would have had his own story
He could have.
allotted in this movie, because by golly, if this movie is not an hour longer than it needs to be.
I agree.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was a very slow start.
It's a lengthy movie.
Here's the thing
yeah,
about
slow
this
burn their
movie
way.
is we took a break in the middle of
Yeah. We took a dinner break about
We took a break to eat dinner.
Yeah.
Like, because we started it at like 6 o'clock last night, and we had to stop because our dog yells at us if he does not have dinner on time.
Yeah.
And if you've met our dog, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
So-
total sense.
We had to stop, and since we had to stop and like feed him his dinner and take him out, we just decided to eat. And it's like this when we started, and I remember telling Dylan while we were eating, I'm like, Dylan, this movie has got a slow start, and I was thinking, I don't know if I can get through the second half. And I was just like, and
Between
then
that and the wiggle tooth thing. Yeah.
I can't.
The wiggle
I
tooth.
have
Yeah, that
problems
bothered
with
me.
teeth.
Oh, it did?
I don't like teeth.
Yeah.
I can't handle children losing
I actually
their
forgot
teeth.
all about it until she started waking out about it. I'm like, oh yeah.
And the whole time he's just going, ah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it
Yeah, like
happened
when he
way
was
too many
tied up to the
times.
vending machine too, like he had nothing else to do, so he
Oh.
just started playing with his
The
tooth.
nagging.
Bothered me.
Yeah,
And he
Hannah-
started singing.
I'm telling you, this whole review was this close to getting canceled because Hannah was like, I can't.
I know. There were so many times.
Because it references it like 6 times before his lip rips
Before
out
his
his
Once,
skull,
once
right?
the tooth was
Yeah.
gone and he was just bleeding, I was fine.
Yeah.
Because I can handle blood, but I can't handle the bones that fall out of your face. Like,
Yeah.
I can't handle them.
So,
Hell yeah.
anyway,
Did
yeah,
you get that
rat,
rat?
yeah.
Let's go.
Chipmunk.
It was definitely a slow start on this time through because, you know, for full disclosure, this is the first time we've been talking about it on air, I guess, recording.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is a movie that was picked from a list of 12, 16 movies that we
16,
technically
I think.
yeah, we had reviewed but never actually got around to recording. If you've watched the show, you've heard us talk about this list several
We've
times.
certainly referenced them, and this is one that has been
Yeah.
referenced on a few occasions.
This is a sort of retro review one that we wanted to come back to and force onto Hannah more or less. But yeah, you know, it was funny though. As I was watching through the first 45 minutes or so, I remember thinking because I was like, yeah, I enjoyed the movie like fairly well the first time through. But God, on the first rewatch with her, and of course there's also like that added person perception as well. Because Bryce, you said you watched this with Kelly, right?
Yep.
Shout out to Kelly, fan of the show. And yeah, it says a lot whenever you feel like that they're dragging, and it's one thing when you know it and you're dragging, but then it just feels
Because
like
you're just wasting your time.
Right.
Now you're wasting somebody else's time.
right. And I was just like,
And
oh
forcing
no.
them to watch tooth wiggling.
Yeah.
And it's just.
I was like, this may have been a mistake. This may go poorly tomorrow. This may just not happen altogether. But we got through, and I think that it picked up more for the second half of the movie for you.
Yeah. And once the tooth was gone.
Yeah,
like
the
I
tooth
said,
is gone. Interest goes up significantly, but
Yeah.
I don't want to leave right to the second half of the movie because there's kind of some first half stuff worth talking about.
Nice
Look at
job.
you, man.
I want to talk about the
Speak
true
us
star of
could've
this,
picked up a
the true
Chevrolet
star of this movie,
Cavalier.
And who's that?
and that's Uchida.
Oh,
Yeah.
the real goat.
Yeah, that kid fell into the river and got wet and had to change out his clothes so many times. And you know what? He stuck around. He kept coming back.
He did.
This kid, that's the true hero on this one.
Remind me of you, Mason. Like
Yeah,
if you were in
he
this
sucks.
You
movie.
reminded me
Me
so
too.
much of Yorkie from Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
almost got
Just
nabbed.
a skinny version of Yorkie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that character a lot.
Skinny Asian Yorkie.
Yep. What about you two? What hot takes do you all have?
I forgot
far.
about the animation style of it and how like you were talking about the opening credits and like him in the bedroom and everything was very detailed while most of the
No.
movie was
So
Pretty
that bedroom
standard.
was like CGI
yeah,
rendered,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
Like definitely had to be.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
refuse to address that.
I think that overall though the movie stands up and it stands out just from it. We've said it before in our last review whenever we weren't recording, where like this movie with it being a non-studio work, it was actually really good.
Like
yeah,
a
for not being a
non-studio
Ghibli or
being
not
not
being
Ghibli,
yeah,
not
this is
Ghibli.
essentially like an
Oh,
indie
gotcha.
animated studio
Yeah.
by like most standards, and for
Yeah.
that, I mean, there's a lot of credit to be given on that one.
Yeah.
You know, not being a Studio Ghibli one, and then it's not from the what's the director from Your Name?
Miyazaki.
Satoshi
No, that's
Sinkai or
Ghibli.
something?
Yeah,
Satoshi said something like that. I'm sure I butchered it.
right.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
though,
but
'cause
not being
he's-
either of those two camps, and it just again being its own separate thing. You know, I think that does a lot for at least for me to sit there and stay interested in it because I'm like, okay, let's see what the new storytelling coming from this is. But we gotta talk about the penguins because I feel like we're not talking enough about the penguins. How fucking cute! Right?
That's
Like,
so cute.
Yeah.
I love it when they're like just stare at the camera and it's just
Yeah.
those big black eyes.
They had no thoughts.
Oh, none.
I think it really
I was-
comes in whenever they're organizing like the last big march at the end of the film, and like she's just summoning all the penguins from everything, and then she does the little like air direction things, and they're moving.
That
them.
was-
Just get one.
That was one of my favorite. That was definitely my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, bar none, is when she's like directing all the penguins. The police officers
Yeah.
are just like, "What the heck is going on?"
I don't know what I would do if a herd of penguins was charging at me. Like,
Open your arms.
yeah. Embrace.
Yeah.
No,
Do as Creed
you
says.
just like let them take you.
Yeah.
Also, is this the witching hour for this condor or what? Like, it's just
Just
not letting up.
relenting, yeah.
So, I don't think you have a family
you know,
anymore.
talking about the penguins, you know, as far as the
We
actually,
got all five.
they're all still there. All right,
all right, I'm doing my parental job.
being a good badger mom.
Oh, no.
No, no.
I just made a mistake.
Oh no.
Oh, they're good.
Oh. Turns out you're just
Oh,
underground.
and now I'm a torch. Okay.
Oh, you got.
Cool.
What is this game?
All right, Nathan. What were you going
Yeah,
on?
sorry.
What are you going on
Man,
about?
you know, just in general, what a weird story. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine how somebody even conceived of the story of this movie.
I said that while watching the movie.
Like,
Actually,
it's
that is those
so
exact
bizarre.
words. Yeah.
Like, nothing. It doesn't flow with any other kind of storytelling, or
No,
It was strange.
it's very unique.
it's
And
unorthodox.
it
It's
also
unorthodox.
needed a kid who's like way up, you know,
Whoa, kids.
paying above his intellectual level too.
Mhm. Oh, that. So, what did y'all think of that kid and his like dedication to intelligence
Every
above all else?
experiment.
I thought that's how Price must have thought as a child. Like,
I've also seen The Promise. Like, I've watched The Promised Neverland, so like I'm fine with Japanese kids being
Being
super
geniuses.
smart, whatnot.
yeah.
It doesn't. By the way, Promised Neverland does not have a season 2. It does not exist. Just making sure you all know
You
that.
told me that it did.
It does.
It shouldn't.
There.
You just
it
ate?
does.
But
We're
anyway.
not talking about that though. That's
Yeah, but I liked him. I thought he was endearing. I thought that the stuff with the boobs, which I think we do finally need to talk about at some
Yeah,
point.
I guess we should.
It kind of helps humanize him a little bit because like he still is a little kid and there's still things he doesn't understand and he's just like is fascinated by this concept. I guess I don't know if he's like sexual or he's just like
well,
this
he's-
intrigues me.
I think it kind of highlights his intellect because he's dissecting it in his mind. He's like, why are these so interesting to me? When I've seen boobs before, I know I've seen boobs before.
He's
Why
like, "Mom
are
has
these
boobs."
so
Yep.
fascinating to me?
And he says that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's like, he's like, why do these make me feel different? Because he's very aware of his feelings.
Right.
So.
I think it's, all things considered, it's and again, this is the first half versus the second half of the movie. I feel like the first half feels like it's everything that is not great about it, and then the second half really starts to make it all kind of pay off, which is a gift and a curse at times. But when I'm thinking about the kid specifically, yeah, like, he comes off as just kind of like this annoying little like know-it-all like brat. That's like kind of funny from time to time when you contrast him against like the big bully kid.
Oh
And
yeah,
stuff like that.
like that scene at the dentist office.
Yeah.
where he's talking about the mushrooms going out of his teeth.
Right, and it's showing like the like
Yeah,
graphics
talk
and
about some
animations.
bad imagery there
Ugh,
too.
yeah, I know.
More teeth imagery for you.
I know.
They really just shoved a lot in this movie.
A lot of
because there was chess too.
Oh, so
Yeah,
much shit.
Well, I feel like having watched a few of these anime movies now, it's very common for them to just pick. I feel like they're just throwing darts at a board of like,
I
If it's
know.
not
these are the
food-
things we're gonna hit on.
Yeah, if it's not
It's
food,
like-
then it's some kind of like game. If it's not games, then it's some kind of like cards. And if it's not cards, then it's always
Or like an
something.
activity, like in Ride Your
Activity,
Wave,
yeah.
It's
surfing.
almost like they're like, I don't know if the audience realizes that this kid is really smart yet.
Let's use
How?
chess.
Let's use chess, and that way they'll know the girl is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is funny because I've seen you and Mason both play chess. I don't think you're any smarter for it.
We're definitely not as smart as that kid is.
No.
Not even close.
No.
Right, but using him as this like intelligent protagonist, but then grounding him in the kid perspective, I think is a lot of fun in the second half of the movie when you start to see more of the, not only his like real maturity, not just his intellectual maturity, but his emotional maturity, meeting him where he's at. I think does a lot to make you kind of feel for him by the time it creeps into the tail in the movie when he has this connection with Onisan, and you're already kind of getting the impression that you're like, I don't think Onisan's sticking around to the end of this movie, really.
She's not gonna make it.
Yeah,
Mr.
But-
Camacho, she doesn't feel so good.
I know. I was about to say, I was like, I don't feel so good.
she does indeed stop feeling so good throughout the tail end of this movie. I mean, she goes out with a nice little quiet, but
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, seeing his emotional reaction to it and just bringing you back to Earth with him being just a kid and taking away like everything that's unique and special about him, I thought was like a nice humbling with the character on that one. Like I remember I felt a lot more on the first time rewatching, knowing it's coming on the second time. And I think for me and all of you guys, this being a rewatch, so to speak, on that, I wonder if how you guys felt like emotionally attached on that one or not. Because I remember thinking that all landed for us the first time. And it still landed for me this time, but I didn't feel it as hard. Like it wasn't as
it
the
took
gut
it down
punch.
a little bit.
Right.
Just a smidge, but yeah.
And
I still felt it. It's just the main problem, again, I've had with this movie is just that everything is way too drawn out.
yeah.
And their kind of story, I think, could have been summed up a lot quicker. It didn't need as much time, but it's still, like, hit decently, but not super emotionally hard.
And it was your first time watching it, so how were you feeling, at least by, like, the tail end when the melancholy, like, tone is trying to come in? Do you feel like the movie landed its tone, or were you just like,
maybe I'm the only one that was freaked out by their relationship and the whole time. I was just like, I feel like I was like, these parents are extremely absent. Did they go to the rolled doll?
Well,
like,
he
You
said
literally
full of
don't
parenting?
see his
Like-
mom until like
the
3/4 of the
until
way through.
3/4 through the movie. It's like I assumed for most of this movie that the mom wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did too.
Which made sense for that
And
relationship.
then she
then.
is.
Yeah, like
Wait,
then it
and
makes
there she
sense.
is on the couch
Because
with her
then
boobs.
it's just like
I thought that she was that girl. Like,
For a
whenever I
while,
saw her,
I mean,
They
yeah.
look similar.
I mean, it makes sense for that. Wow, you saying all the Asian characters in this anime looks the same?
No, it's kinda like-
They
No.
didn't do a whole lot as far as changing up
Clip
the
it.
characters.
Like the character models just don't look too different. Like when I watched Akira recently, like all of them
I
look
mean-
exactly the same.
them.
All the characters.
The moment that landed the most for
Stop
me
Asian Hate 21.
was when the little sister crawled up in his bed and was talking about his mom gonna die, like that.
mhm.
Because I remember when I was a child sitting in the doctor's office with my mom, and it was just like a checkup for me, or so. It was not like I wasn't even sick, and I realized I was like, Mom, are you gonna die? And she was just like, yeah, and I was like, am I gonna die? And so it like I was just like, I think every kid has that moment when they realize that, everyone's going to die.
Mhm.
And so that moment, I think, that hit harder for me than anything else in the movie.
But
But it also was a little
But
shoehorned
that
in.
yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. It's like as far as that moment though, like what did that do for the movie
Nothing.
at all?
No,
it
I
was,
know.
It was just another random piece of like, here's a thing to make this seem more like a real world. Like
Right.
these
Yeah.
people like playing chess and like having their hobbies and skills and everything. Like to me, it was just a bunch of random little bits added in as
Yeah, it didn't make
to
sense.
be detailed to make the world seem more real, but it just seemed kind of forced.
I feel like it could be like a little bit of a nod to how the movie is wrapping with, Onisan by the time it's said and done. Like, we haven't really seen him have a concept of life or death really up until this point. And I don't know, if you're really going to hit it over the head with us that he's like, yes, he has an experience with thinking about this at his age. They just introduced this moment into it so that he has something to think about as, like, Onisan's going to be fading away.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely don't think that's, like, the best way they could have done it. Like, again, it's a good moment, but it's not built up to anything. And I guess the payoff is that Onisan, gets dusted, blipped. I don't know, whatever Marvel term we want to use for it. But
that's a good comparison.
but yeah, I mean, I think again, that's so much of this movie's problem runtime wise is that there's like a bunch of good individual moments, and like 2/3 of them connect to the plot. But then there's probably at least like a 33% chunk of this movie that is just like, here's stuff. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. Because I mean, the thing is, if that hadn't taken me back to a very specific memory from my childhood, then it wouldn't have done anything for me.
Yeah, which it didn't for me because I didn't have that
Exactly.
moment. Like
And I mean, so
I barely
for,
remember it happened.
For every other person watching this, it
Yeah.
it wouldn't make sense. I don't know.
And an anime
It
that
was
I think
strange.
that kind of did that concept better, My Neighbor Totoro, which
Maybe
I don't
we
know
were
if
just
maybe-
supposed to remember that the sister existed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hey, she has a purpose, maybe.
Well, the mom
To wake him up in the
way.
morning.
Yeah. Come eat your food! Fuck you!
Just like the little sister in Your Name, All she does is just there to
Yeah,
say,
like,
time to get
A
up.
little
Yeah.
sister in any anime movie is just there to be annoying, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm an alarm clock.
Yeah.
The second-born's job is just to wake up the firstborn. That's it. Who knew? What a
Do you
cultural
guys
standard.
think the
Seems like-
Punisher got blipped?
The what?
The Punisher.
The
from
Punisher?
from last week's review.
Oh.
Thomas Shane.
Do you think he got blipped?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would think
That
so
sucks.
too.
Yeah.
I don't know. They never talked about it even in the Netflix Marvel universe, so I'm
Before
not
it
too
happened.
sure.
Any other random thoughts we have on the movie before we start moving segments around, guys?
I was going to want to talk about the music a little bit. It's just honestly your kind of typical anime piano kind of background music. There's really nothing special to it,
I didn't
unfortunately.
remember anything about the music.
See,
so.
exactly, and it's not
Very
even like,
forgettable.
and it's not
Yeah.
even good, like particularly good anime background music. Like Ghibli, I think excels in that category when it comes to just even just piano, not even their
Ghibli knows how to
orchestral
set an
stuff.
atmosphere, and this one was just
Oh, yeah.
like they knew the tone they were going for, and this is just kind of like here's just subtle like tone with it. But
The only time it really sticks out at all is like the actual Penguin Highway part where the music is rising up along
Right.
with the action.
The
Like at that point it's a
whimsical-
little yeah.
yeah, when it's the penguin floodway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which that part was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me is probably the best moment of the movie.
It's either that one or when she first throws the can up to make the penguin,
Oh,
and then she's like, "Figure that one out, scientist," and he's just sitting there with his tooth still bleeding.
Yeah.
I really like that because it's completely dumbfounded him.
I actually do want to take a quick second to talk about some of the humor in this movie because I like his humor is
That's a good point.
his humor is really funny to me. Like the time where he's sitting there and he gets tied up to the vending machine and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to be a vending machine."
Yeah, I'm a vending machine.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, how much would you like for your drink?" And he's like, "That'd be 175 yen." And then she puts it in and she can't get it out. And then she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm leaving." And then he's like, "Okay." And then she starts to actually leave and he's like, "Please don't go." Like, I love how like just that dynamic in itself. Like the relationship with Oni-chan and them, despite being pretty questionable by a lot of standards.
Yeah.
Well, but it's fine because she's not a human.
It's true.
They
It's
tell
an
you that a
alien
few
best
times,
friend.
so
Yeah.
that's how it's okay.
I mean, for a
Something
little
that absolutely no one knew about her, had any idea about.
yeah.
Why do these parents not question who their children are with?
Parents in Japan,
Like where
Japan
they
by
come
Yeah.
from too. You know, it's like suddenly it's a small.
It's like, oh yeah, you're hanging
prefecture
out. You're hanging
village
out with
Right.
the receptionist from the dentist's office.
Of
Who
course
does-
you are.
Who doesn't do that?
No,
What 9-year-old doesn't hang out with the receptionist from their dentist's office?
I feel like
I remember doing that.
Yeah. I feel like if I've learned anything from watching anime over time, both movies and in just like the show form, it's that if the parents are even there, first of all, like the kids are always going on adventures, but parents are just working, I guess. I mean, they work like 15-hour shifts and they go home and they go to sleep,
Yeah.
and then if
Yeah.
their kid's still alive, they've done their job. So,
Parents are very absent in Japanese movies. It
Yeah.
seems.
I mean, in Pokemon and that, I mean, you could literally go across
I
the
mean-
board.
Well, yeah, in Pokemon, they're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
"Are you 12? Leave
Bye.
my house."
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, same way.
Mhm.
I just like that these kids take like an entire campsite worth of equipment to
Yeah.
like go
Well,
like investigate
it
the
did
ocean.
show that they were there for like 3 weeks or
Yeah,
more.
they were there for
Yeah.
a while.
They've been.
Yeah, they
You
set
won't.
up, but then
You
they were
won't do
just,
it.
I
but
think
they
I
couldn't
have
have
to.
bought that stuff. Their
No.
children, and so they just like they were
Is the
just like,
weights
you know
hit the
what, we're
rocks?
just gonna take all this.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
ask where I'm going.
Right.
Definitely not running away from home. Not that you would notice.
Yeah.
Obviously. Do these parents like report their children missing? At what point do children in these movies go missing?
After. They just don't. They don't. Like.
They're just like, you know what? Maybe he just ran off with the receptionist.
Must have went off to go
from
be a
the dis-
Pokemon trainer.
Uh-huh.
It can't be like that.
Then it
Like,
turns into prisoners.
Yeah. Oh gosh. That one's on the rewatch list that we'll get to
That'd be
eventually, but
good.
we weren't gonna lead with that.
Have
But
we not talked about that one on here?
no, not on air.
Nope.
Wow, just our tournament bracket.
Yeah.
Where it got like top 8 or something.
Yeah, interesting talk. But
Yeah.
I mean, I covered all my points. I don't know if anybody else has any other points or stuff they want to discuss in this.
I really don't. You got anything, Kirby?
No, I forgot how uplifting this movie was from the very second that it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
That's
like,
just happy.
It was like in your face happy the entire time, which is good. There's no flaw, but
that is a good point. I mean, they're like, I don't even really remember like a really down part.
No.
You know?
I think they tried with the sister. That was it.
Well, the bullying was pretty.
The bullying was still fun though.
Yeah,
Like,
it still seemed
The bullying
goofy.
didn't seem sinister.
It wasn't
it
like
wasn't
it's
serious.
bullying, you know?
Yeah,
Like, we weren't talking
Yeah,
about,
that's
like,
true.
yeah.
It's like the big kid sat on the little kid.
Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting to find out more about the bully, but then his entire character development was just having a crush on the girl, I guess.
Yeah.
And not know how to express it.
In a way, I almost like I'm pretty content with that. Like I guess they had all the time in the world really to flesh out more characters if they really wanted to, and that
Yeah.
probably would have been appreciated.
As I said earlier.
But that being
You get
said,
to eat.
But instead, they chose to show us
Just don't
tooth
eat.
wiggling in the beginning.
right?
Just take a nibble out of everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just get the
overall, if I'm looking at the character development and just saying this, then just like they're leaving it pretty flat because at the end of the day, they are just children. Not to say that children aren't like whole people with giant personalities and stuff like that, but again, there's maybe not necessarily a whole bunch to flesh out, and it's not like they're going over like this great maturity arc. I mean, really, most of them really don't change too much from start to finish. The bully gets a little bit of like an arc in that, hey, he said that he's sorry because he's a jerk. And then, like,
He
the
is.
smart kid gets humbled and remembers his age. But otherwise, everybody else is just kind of the same. So, I mean, I guess if they put that time in, it wouldn't really have a big payoff with it. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, the time spent on tooth wiggling was definitely a way to go with that. But that aside, if we're all done on the discussion part, let's get into the next segment, which is, what is it, Price?
It's supposed to be the question.
Yeah. So, what is the question?
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I come up with it?
Yeah, you're always going on about it.
I didn't have one particularly prepared, but I'll do like a kind of general one. What is everyone's favorite anime movie? Could be one we've talked about on here, one that we haven't talked about on here.
Pass.
I mean,
I said your favorite anime, like yours is your name.
Pass.
I was
I
gonna say-
think that's going to be a lot of answers here.
I feel like it's A or B, guys. Like for most of us, I don't know, Hannah's the audible on one.
It's
on this
your
one.
name or Weathering with You, but Weathering with You is definitely not as good as your name,
Yeah,
but it was
Still need
still
to watch that
good.
again.
Weathering with You is good, but yeah, I mean, I don't.
The
feel as-
gun.
Yeah,
gun, man.
there was some dumb decisions in that.
Yeah.
Talking about throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like, he needs a gun. In a city
That'll
where
really
you're not
heighten
allowed to have
attention.
weapons.
I mean, not to like spoil the movie bracket discussion all over again. If you haven't,
We've already talked about
I
it.
know. I mean, this by then it should have already aired by this time.
Yeah.
This one
Nathan, what's your game plan here?
I don't know. I think
Nathan's
I
gonna
messed
get
up.
swept away. Oh no,
My-
Nathan,
My babies are gonna die.
your babies are done.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
not good. Yeah, I think I lost them all.
Yeah, you. No, they're right there.
I still got two. I got
Um,
two.
Is this a test?
Yeah.
I
To
have
see
no
which
idea.
ones
This
you
is
still
Nathan's
love?
test.
Right.
All right.
Anyway, Hannah, if you had to say what your favorite anime movie,
I don't know. Maybe your name. Your name
I
is
like how
really
it's just
good.
like
that surprises me for
your
you.
defense is
I
just
didn't feel like
hiding
you were
a
super
small
hot on it.
from
I
the
really
rapid.
liked it.
It was really good.
You didn't talk much about it afterwards. You were like, "That was a movie."
Now, if it's the one I've seen the most, it's that weird Little Mermaid where the mermaids were topless.
What?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
Please
so-
tell.
So whenever I was really little, I guess for one, it was birthday. I think it was. I really wanted the Little Mermaid, Disney's The Little Mermaid. But I guess my
Poncho?
aunt and uncle couldn't find it, and so they just bought an animated version of The Little Mermaid. But it was this really weird anime version that I guess they found in a bargain bin somewhere. But
Okay.
it is this weird kind of anime Little Mermaid that's dubbed over, and I think, but yeah, the mermaids don't have seashells; they're topless, and so every once in a while their hair goes to the sides, and you see their little nipples.
Mhm.
And
Well,
but it's like the
was that the
actual,
original story one,
yeah,
where,
it's
like,
the
he dies
it's
or
the
whatever?
original Hans Christian Andersen version of the story where she commits suicide in the end. And
Oh.
like
That's
yeah, she's
dark.
given. She has to either kill the prince, or she dies.
This is
and,
my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff.
And she
Can we pick
chooses-
that if that gets landed on?
Can't find
Yeah,
it.
because like the prince like ends up marrying someone else, and she and her sisters like cut their hair and give it to the sea witch in order to get this special dagger, and she can either kill the prince with this like special dagger, or she'll turn into sea foam at dawn. And she chooses to turn into sea foam because she can't kill her love, and it is that is this version of The Little Mermaid that I grew up with.
So that's like
So
top 3
it's-
anime movies for you?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty dark, but saw lots
Just
of
most memorable.
nips.
Mhm.
Well, on a different note, mine would be either The Night is Short or Kiki's Delivery Service. That'd probably be mine too. You can shake your head at Kiki's. That hits a note for me. Like I
Okay.
love Kiki's. The
I mean, I
music
like-
is great. I love how like the story just kind of meanders through her life. It's a delightful movie. So
I enjoy
go with
Kiki's. I
those
just
two.
don't know
No,
if
it'd
I'd
be
put
one
it
of
that
my
high
top-
up for me.
Mhm.
Too.
I wouldn't put it in my like top
Okay.
3, like top 5
That's what
maybe.
I was for Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was a broom.
Dylan was the broom.
Yeah. How could we forget?
It doesn't have to be on your top 3, Dylan. It's on mine.
I know. That's fine. I mean, I don't know. Like your name, Spirited Away, are probably gonna be like first on any given day. But if I'm gonna give it,
Spirit Away was hard.
throw it to
That's
some.
why I didn't see Mononoke. I'm surprised that one wasn't up there.
You know, I do remember liking Mononoke quite a bit, but you know, it is a really long movie.
a long
God, it's
movie.
almost a 3-hour movie. Yeah.
It's an epic.
But it deserves that runtime. It's just a lot to rewatch.
If you want our thoughts on that, go check out the Princess Mononoke review also on this channel. But
I haven't seen it, so they don't waste any time tooth wiggling.
No tooth wiggling. A
There-
lot more blood
a
though.
lot more blood.
Oh, I can deal with blood.
Yeah.
I like blood.
I don't know. I really enjoy Howl's Moving Castle, but we haven't reviewed or talked about that one.
I'm not too big a fan of
I've,
that.
I've watched
House
that one.
Moving Castle.
It's pretty good.
I like Howl's Moving Castle. I like the
Dude,
like
this place is
spiritual-
like-
I mean, again, I like the adventure aspect of any Ghibli film. Like that's so much. What they
I mean,
do.
that's what they are.
that's the premise,
most
right?
of them.
I just happen to like that one in particular. I thought it was neat. Like,
You're really gonna pick one? I thought it'd be your name for you at least.
Yeah.
why is the forest on fire?
He is
just-
way more intrigued with this
No,
than
I know.
anything we're
Forest fire.
talking
Mason
about.
is so just about. He's
I
like,
don't know. It's a badger.
Oh,
It's 3 badgers and
my
Nathan
little
does
baby.
his job, right?
All right, can we go ahead and do
Well, it
scores?
was
Because
6
yeah,
at
we're gonna
first,
start with
right?
Mason.
yeah, we're gonna do
6.
scores. Mason, you go first, so you can go back to watching this.
Not
Yeah.
to look and see what I gave it.
No, just what?
Well, see, that's what I was.
Well,
That's
see,
the
now
next thing
I
was
like
gonna
the idea of an
ask
update
is,
on
do
it,
we?
wasn't
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
we updated from the second
Yeah,
rewatch.
sure.
Yeah, we just make a new line for it, and that's the score with
Yep.
the re-review.
Uh-huh.
I'll give it a 7.5.
You've always been pretty hot on this movie.
Yeah.
Not like super hot.
Dude, you got fired.
Not as hot as this
And that
fire
front
right
door.
now. Oh my
Mason,
God.
just finish it up.
Finish the review.
Are you upset about the fire,
Oh
or
my Lanta.
I think above all else, I know he's about to get a stick to the face from one of these trees falling apart.
Y'all are the worst.
But 7.5. I think upon rewatch it was longer than I remembered, but that doesn't take it down too much. It was an 8, so just to give you guys some reference.
Okay. Nathan?
So though this movie is lighthearted and delightful in its own way, it wastes a lot of time and does a lot of weird things. And you know, this was one of the first anime movies. Whenever we were getting into watching that, I definitely just lost one. And I remember thinking at the time, it's like, oh well, this isn't what I generally think of when I think anime in a good way. On the rewatch, it feels pretty classic anime to me.
You can say that now because you've watched quite a few at this point.
Yeah, and it's just not something that I've got a strong love for. I would imagine I gave it a higher rating whenever we originally viewed it.
What was
but
the original
now,
rating
Don't say it.
Okay.
Now I'm probably gonna say it's a 6. It's above average, but it's not. You know, it's not changed my mind so much about the normal anime scene.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Nathan had given it a 5.5.
Oh, so it's definitely gone up in
So
there.
he went up.
Nathan's like,
Alright.
interesting. Not where I thought
I
my...
really thought I had a higher opinion of it, actually.
I did too until I saw it last night.
Be
Like,
curious
I
to
saw
see
the
what
sheet
my
last
score is
night.
after the fact. But Price, you want to lead on?
Yeah, works for me. I feel the same way as Nathan, that this movie is a bit above average, but man, did I not remember how long this movie was. It's the first thing I thought of when I got done with it. I was like, man, that movie dragged a lot. There's a lot of stuff they could have cut. There are a lot of plot lines that they could have trimmed down or left out completely. The animation still looked really good. Nothing too spectacular. I do like the mystery aspect of it to an extent. I think the movie indulged itself a little bit too much in that mystery. Like, I think it thought we cared a lot more about it than we really did. Some of the characters were really fun. The main character and his friend and Oni-san, I guess we'll call her.
Mhm.
All three of them were still really good characters, but still nothing too outstanding. I'm going to go just a tad above Nathan and go with a 6.5.
You had it at a 7.
Oh, just down a little bit.
Okay.
I thought it was down a lot more.
Up a little bit, down a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
We're
I guess
fairly consistent.
I'll leap over Hannah just to get all of the retro scores out of the way with it. But yeah, this I don't remember where I graded it on before, but I'm gonna land at a 7.5, and that might have been exactly where it was the first time on it.
Twas.
Which just proves that we are the most consistent, even with our opinion changing. Because I believe in this. So the movie definitely, I saw more flaws in it the second time through. It is definitely longer. We've already beat that horse. But overall, the main premise and the main things all still landed for me. The moments whenever it's funny and it's having this kid like perspective humor with it, I still laughed at every time Uchida fell into a puddle and he was just crying.
Started crying.
Yeah, like still makes me laugh a good deal with it. Like I still had fun with it when it wanted me to have fun. I still felt an emotional connection whenever she's about to fade away and he's just like trying to be like tough, but then you remember he's still a kid. Like I think all of this, the main stuff plays well. The movie is like chubbier and flatter, and it just does have this extra bloat to it that it could have done a lot more with. But again, that's why I'm not giving this movie an 8 or 9 or 10. It's because it's not perfect. It has its flaws. It's had these things. 7.5 I feel like is just right for this film. And good to know that even though I'm a little less hot on it, I still wouldn't say it's of lesser quality from when I first watched it. So I think that's where it holds my score, 7.5. Hannah, on the score of 1 to 10.
The most important review.
Yes.
What?
And the most important score here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it just a 7.
Pow.
Just, it's very average, I think. Just average. I think it was very slow to start. Everything about it was okay. The relationship really freaked me out. I'm sorry. It just I wasn't digging it. I was kind of okay to see her go. I was like, you know what? He needs to move past this. He's gonna be better for this having ended.
Except it ends with them like deciding
Hey,
that
come
his
over.
whole life journey
Will
is
just
to
be to go
find a
home.
way to get back to
Yep.
her.
And in America,
So-
we call that grooming.
But also, I mean, whenever there's a mystery, I like whenever the mystery is solved and you get to say, oh,
Like,
yes.
oh, that's how it all worked.
All the
Right.
pieces. And you didn't get that. You were just like, what?
It's like,
This-
so it never
this,
makes sense.
This still doesn't really make sense. Like, this is, you just took a bunch of stuff and threw it in a box
And
and
crammed
just
it in
said,
my head.
and just said,
Yep.
and just said, you know how this was related? It's related. Like, that's
It's
basically
like they're all
what they said.
together.
They didn't
obviously.
say how it actually fit. They just said it fits.
Knives
And
Out
I'm
would have been
just
so
like,
much
that
better
doesn't-
if it ended like that.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what happened? It happened.
And everyone's like, what?
And everyone's like, whoa!
I feel like it's the Sailor Moon meme of Tuxedo Mask, and he's sitting there and he's like, my job is done here. And Sailor Moon's like, you didn't do anything. And then it's just like him waving away. Like, that's essentially the movie with this plot. It's just,
Yeah. And also, one thing, whenever I watch a movie, one thing I gauge it by is how much I think about it afterwards the next day.
Mhm.
I honestly
That's a
did
good
not think about this movie until I got here. And I watched it last night pretty late, and I did not think about it once during my work day, and I had an extraordinarily boring work day today. So there was a lot of opportunity for this to, poke back in the old brain ball, and it did not. So very average, maybe even a little below average. I'm being pretty generous giving this a C minus, but
That's fair.
70.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seven
so
out of
your
10.
your scores are more online with their score system, where like
Oh,
a 7
yeah, I
is
forgot.
like
You guys have
average.
the most
Yeah.
ridiculous score system. So yeah, I'm thinking 7 out of 10.
We're the
being
crazy ones apparently.
70%.
Us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We don't need to get into that.
70% is good. Is pretty average.
It's good marriage material right there. You
Yeah.
see that,
She
Mason?
agrees
Yeah,
with you.
7 is average, not
Oh.
5. What would actually be?
Meaning
the
they
middle.
had they
Yes.
got half the things right.
So it looks like Dylan
Well,
has
I mean, I
concluded
guess
this.
if you say like movies in general, as an average, probably
Just have
do
to make
average
sure
around
it's
a 7.
Yeah,
So that's
probably.
fair enough. I understand that.
I think overall too, it's funny that we ended up talking about this, knowing that you've watched Repo Man twice in the past week, and you probably would have
Yeah.
much preferred to
You
talk
know
about
what?
that.
I would
I
not
would
have
have
watched
loved to watch, talked about that movie.
No.
We recorded that one though,
I
didn't we? Or
would,
did we not?
yeah, you did.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one
we
was
recorded.
I would
It has a really
love-
cool thumbnail.
Love,
Yeah.
love,
That's
love,
right.
love to talk about that movie because I've watched it twice now, and on the rewatch, I remembered way more than I thought I would. I remembered words to the songs. Like I was just like, how? So I enjoyed that
We
one.
can sing one of those songs on Rock Band
No,
too.
we can't. Your neighbor said no, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to play on volume 1. Like as loud as the Badger game right now.
But it is that time of the show, guys, where we sit here and we get the big wheel. Now I'm so glad we're doing this thing for the most part.
Where
Sometimes
did you get this wheel? Did you get it? Or can you
Mason.
order it on like Amazon?
Mhm.
Or
Uh-huh.
something?
That's where we got
Get
it.
everything
Got it
on
from the Amazon.
so price. You can't spin it.
I know, I'm not spinning it.
You can't spin it that way. It has
Can we
to
get
spin.
it this way?
Price is right.
Oh wait,
side.
no, let Hannah spin it.
Oh,
Yeah, you want
of
Let
course.
the guest spin
How
it.
do I can't.
You gotta
spin
go
it
to-
this
you
way.
And you have to do it kind of hard.
No,
No, you really do.
you really do. Yeah,
It has to
It's
be-
got a little resistance.
Yeah, but it's
Spin
got
it.
to spin around a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have to spin it this way.
Yeah.
Just like that. What we
did I
got?
get?
Sucker punch!
Oh, okay.
Nathan finally gets on the board.
Finally.
With
Oh.
not the best one.
Nah.
But that's okay.
No, that one's fun.
What's the best one?
No,
For
the
now?
best one that I put on
Constantine,
there.
probably.
Constantine, yeah, that one's pretty good. What? Oh, Highlander. I'd rather.
Oh,
have
the
Highlander.
Toyota?
I haven't seen either of those.
Oh man, Sucker Punch will be.
I saw that's a hot
Sucker
minute
Punch
ago.
is interesting.
I've-
Get ready for a really long music video.
Yeah,
Oh,
essentially.
That's
Zack Snyder's
That could
favorite
be
music
good.
video, but we'll see.
Is he known for diddling kids?
No, Snyder's
No.
not.
Oh,
Whedon has sexual assaults on him, but nothing with kids.
okay.
That's
gotcha.
what you're probably thinking of.
Probably.
Probably.
Do not diddle kids. Ain't
You know
no
that-
good diddling
This,
kids.
I'm telling you, Penguin Highway could have done a lot with that song.
Yeah, that would have really
Teacher.
gotten mileage out of that one. But anyway, so I guess next week we're going to be talking about Sucker Punch, Zack Snyder's modern classic. I don't know how to describe it. You'll listen, you can just tune in for that. But if you like the content we're putting out right now, make sure to subscribe. There's that nice little button right around down here in this area. Look for the kneecaps right below.
I thought you were just
Is
saying,
that
look,
the-
look for Price's crotch.
Look
Yeah.
look at my knees.
Yeah, look at Price's very pasty knees, and then go right below, and you'll see the subscribe
What are
button.
these if you're gonna be going?
Yeah.
Things that freak me out, people's knees.
Isn't that the one with Emily Browning? Is that
Yeah.
who she's in?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, you know the one. You know the
That's
one.
I don't know if I've ever
That's
watched
always
it.
something.
Emily Browning?
Yeah. Pretty voice.
Browning? I like
Yeah.
brownies.
Browning.
Mom makes me
browning,
brownies.
like you're making something darker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like you're talking when I go to the bathroom.
So, you can also hit the bell if you want to, know when we upload videos. I mean, that just says, hey,
Thanks.
we're here now, and we did this one. So, this is something I don't know. You can let us know in the comments below if you thought that Price's comment about Browning was appropriate. Or if that any of the child and Onisan's relationship is appropriate at all. Is it grooming? Let us know in the comments below.
Do you
Otherwise,
have a problem with knees or with teeth?
yeah, let us know. But otherwise, guys, that's going to be it for us. Make sure to tune in next week for Sucker Punch, and we will see you then.
Yes, we will.
Badgers.
Badger, 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 badger,
Bye.
badger, badger, badger. Mushroom, come on, somebody!
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
We didn't quote that once the entire video. You know that old YouTube or the old Newgrounds video? Badger, badger.